What's the worst design flaw you've ever encountered? Your computer is currently not connected to the internet. Check online for solutions. I always Google my network problems. I even Googled is Google down one time. I'm not a smart man. My friend does something like this. He opens his web browser. He types Google in the address bar. Google is the default search engine for that browser and hits enter. Google results show google.com. He clicks that link and types up whatever he was looking for. It always bugs me when he does that. In my apartment bathroom, the drain in the sink is not placed at the lowest point in the sink. I found this way down the page. There are some mighty terrible designs on here, but I don't think any of them beat. Doesn't understand water flows downward. Maybe it's future-proof. Who knows what gravity might act like tomorrow. When a tap faucet is not long enough, so you can't get your hands under it due to the sink being in the ducking way of the tap. How the duck am I meant to wash my hands properly? We recently remodeled our bathrooms and my wife thought I was crazy for insisting that we get taps that stick out far enough to avoid this. Now I can tell her that a random stranger on the internet agrees with me. Oh, this is nothing. I lived in Ireland for a while and they have these ducking idiotic things everywhere. What idiot came up with that? It is literally hot cold when washing your hand. How to use an Irish sink. Apply soap to hands. Scald your hands with the boiling hot water from the hot tap to kill most of the germs. Freeze your hands with the ice cold water from the cold tap to kill all remaining germs. My mother's glass top stove. It has touch sensitive control buttons on the cooking surface, which means that if you have a spill or something boils over, you can't turn the stove off. Our stove has a cleaning cycle that locks the oven door while it is on and has a temperature sensor to keep the door locked until it has cooled down to a safe temperature. All that is normal. The problem comes that you cannot cancel the cleaning cycle once it is active. So if one puts in some food and accidentally hits the cleaning cycle button instead of bake, it locks and is hell-bent on turning your food into charcoal. The one time we derped and hit the wrong thing, we ended up going to the basement and throwing the circuit breaker to kill power to it. Thank goodness it was an electric model. Lived in a house where every time you opened the front door, you'd smash the hallway light bulb. As an electrician, can I just say how appalled I'm the joiner put the door in the wrong place. Oh, I love this one. That should be a running gag in a movie, with the lead character getting exasperated. The S and Lows doesn't match. Drives me ducking crazy. You mother ducker. Why did you need to point this out? Some keyboard came with a power button, one that would force close all programs running and shut down the PC, next to the delete button like this. Edit. If you do not think that it is bad enough is worth noticing, that is right next to the enter button, and that it would not ask for confirmation. We had a full elementary lab come shipped with these keyboards. Didn't even unwrap any after I saw the first one. The gap between the driver's seat and the middle console, between the two front seats. Either 1. Make the gap big enough to fit your hand down when you inevitably drop something down there. 2. Make the gap small enough to not inevitably drop something down there. The small circle toilet bowls. No, I don't want my Venus touching the ceramic urine-crusted rim. One of the toilets at work cracked, so plumbers came in and replaced all the toilets. They replaced long bowl toilets with those tiny teacup bowl toilets. Someone managed to squirt feces all over the back of the seat because he couldn't fit on the tiny seat. The small bowls were promptly exchanged for long bowl toilets. Someone. Ice cube trays that don't bend. Pandas. Everything about them is a design flaw. They are an carnivore omnivore that only eats bamboo shoots. Their mouth has evolved to eat their diet, so their lips are constantly in pressure, so they can't close their mouths properly. They don't get enough energy from their food source, so they have to eat constantly. Furthermore, their food source is so low in nutrients, they cannot hibernate, like every other ducking member of the Ursidae family. They females are only on heat for 2 or 3 days every freaking year. Every single captive panda is the property of the Chinese government, so if a zoo wants to try a captive breeding program, they have to pay rental on a panda to the Chinese. Only big and profitable zoos can afford to keep 2 or more pandas. Okay, that isn't bad design. Just bad luck. Pandas can't hibernate. Is that why they've always got bags under their eyes? Except they are so darn cute. It really is the only reason they aren't extinct. As my mum used to say when I was a kid, you're lucky you're cute. I work for a company that builds fancy expensive electronics things. On a few designs, the positive and negative voltage cable ports are right next to each other on a certain circuit board. Plugging them in the wrong way blows the board and costs the company thousands a pop. Should the connectors be keyed so they can't be plugged in wrong? No, that's too complicated. How about color coding the wires? It's cheaper to just use white wire for both. So here we are, wasting thousands on test, rework, and reassembly on a problem that's fixed by spending an extra $5 on the initial assembly. My toaster has the power cord coming out on the same side as the controls. This means I can't hide the cord, otherwise the controls would face away from me and towards the wall. Barbaric. There was this umbrella that you attached to your car door in the same way you do with those little flags. It was designed to keep you dry when you're getting out of the car and it's raining, but you couldn't drive with it attached. Think about that for a second. For when you can afford someone to attach an umbrella to your car door when you arrive places, but cannot afford someone to actually carry an umbrella for you. I think Rolls-Royce has this one figured out. They have umbrellas in the doors. Putting an uncovered exhaust port just large enough to fit a torpedo down that leads directly to the main reactor on a massive battle station designed to destroy planets. As hard as the shot would be to make, if any debris in space were to fall down that hole into the reactor, shot would not be good. I once bought a dry erase board. The company thought it would be a good idea to include a Sharpie in the package. Giant ducking power adapters that are as wide as 3 ports when plugged in. Seriously? Seriously? Plastic packaging that is impossible to open without incision wounds and several cuts. Duck this. Shut. I refer to that as government plastic. Needlessly difficult and endless frustrating. Sinkist. Eyelashes are designed to sweep foreign objects away from your eye. They get dislodged and wind up in your eye. I'd rather have the occasional eyelash in my eye than the shot that would otherwise get in there. At least I know where my eyelash has been, assuming I haven't been drinking. Time to finally tell this. Dallas World Aquarium had the shuttiest toucan cages ever. In 3rd grade, I went on a trip to the Dallas World Aquarium. Beautiful place. Tons of awesome fish, sharks, and motherfucking penguins. However, there was one exhibit that was particularly fascinating to me. The toucans. Why? Because the cages were overhead. My mom, a chaperone, pointed and said, "Reggie, look at that toucan." I looked up in excitement, and, at that very moment, one large blob of toucan shut landed in my eye. I guess the architects didn't take the fact that toucan shut is affected by gravity into mind when placing the cages above the visitors. The fan Dell put underneath my laptop, which died about 3 weeks after I bought it from overheating. Mine was designed so that the vents blow out along the back edge, which is covered by the bottom edge of the screen when it is open, otherwise known as when it is on. The laptop that is designed so that whenever it is on the airflow is blocked. WTF. This is an old design flaw that has been fixed. Hot dogs come in packs of 10. Hot dog buns come in packs of 8. Maybe to force you to get 5 packs of buns and 4 packs of hot dogs. The recurrent laryngeal nerve. It runs from the brain, down into the neck, and connects with the larynx. Haha, just kidding. It goes from the brain, down into the neck, down into the chest, loops around the aorta, goes back up the chest, into the neck, and finally connects to the larynx. Try explaining that one without using evolution. It's extra funny in the giraffe. The paper towel dispensers that require you to pull hard on the towel to overcome the spring and get the towel out. Whoever designed that must not have realized their main audience is people with wet hands. Windshield wipers. I have 3 speeds on mine, and no matter what, the rain is always falling at such a rate that one speed is too slow, but the next highest speed is way too fast. The fire escape on my house is made entirely out of wood. How else could fire escape? Sticky notes do not remain stick forever. Lose their stickness. It is problem. Is matter. Registering for a website, your first name must be 4 letters or more. A big ol' middle finger to Bob, Don, Tom, Tim, Sam, etc. The ashtray in my car cannot be emptied when the car is in park because the shifter is in the way. The appendix, mine went AWOL and tried to kill me. We having a ticking time bomb inside all of us for nothing. Nobody is safe. 2 urinals at a right angle. USB plug. You have to flip it over 2 times before it goes in. Pro tip, the USB logo on the plastic housing almost always faces up when plugging in. If it's a side facing one, turn it so it faces the right as you look at it. If you don't have the logo, the seam in the metal almost always faces down or to the left. I was staying in a hotel once, and the door had been placed so close to the toilet stool that it struck the bowl almost immediately on opening. The owner's solution: cut a large toilet bowl shaped portion out of the door. This was problematic because the lights in the bathroom could not be turned off and they were roughly the same intensity as the sun. I had a vacuum cleaner whose motor would exhaust air straight ahead. On hardwood floors, you would have to chase the dust bunnies all around until you snuck up on them in reverse. Years ago at work we had PCS that had the floppy eject button right next to the power button. Hilarity did not ensue when we would accidentally switch off our computers instead of ejecting the disk. Toilet stalls where the door opens inward. Sure, I'll just remove my legs. No problem. Earphones that have sex in your pocket. Evolution gave us a tailbone but no tail. Too bad. I could have had so much fun with my tail. Edit. I never said I wanted it for a sexual manner.